Some messages you don't ignore. Not because you're kind, but because something in them feels wrong. Like if you look away, something bad is going to happen. Mine came at 11:42 p.m. and I almost missed it. Almost. He's hurting my mama, please help. I stared at the screen. Just a second. But long enough to feel it. That quiet shift inside. The kind you don't question. You just know. This wasn't normal. Not a prank. Not a mistake. Even before I could explain why. Then the second message came. I'm hiding. He said he'll kill her. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about me choosing to care. This was a kid who had already run out of choices. And somehow, I was next on the list. I should have verified. I should have called someone. That's what people like me do. We don't move without information, without control. But I didn't. I'm on my way. 3 words. And even as I sent them, I knew something about this night was already different. I just didn't know how much. I grabbed my coat and walked out. Fast. Too fast for it to look normal. My security noticed. Of course they did. One of them asked where I was going. I didn't answer. Because if I slowed down, even for a second, I might have started thinking, and thinking would have ruined it. By the time I got in the car, my hands were already tight on the wheel, tighter than usual. I didn't even remember typing the address, but it was there. Ready. Like I had already decided before I knew I had. The city looked the same. Same lights. Same empty roads. But something felt off. Like everything around me was moving too slow, and somewhere out there, something was moving too fast. Then my phone buzzed again. I hear footsteps. Please hurry. That line. It got under my skin. Because I could almost hear it too. The silence between sounds. The waiting. The kind of waiting that stretches every second until it hurts. I pressed harder on the gas. Harder than I should have. Streets I knew by heart started to blur. And for a second, I caught myself thinking, what if I'm already late? I shook it off. Pushed faster. But the thought stayed. Quiet. Heavy. Here's the truth. I wasn't supposed to be in this situation. Billionaires don't chase unknown numbers in the middle of the night. We manage risk. We avoid chaos. We don't run toward it. But I wasn't thinking like that anymore. I was thinking, don't fail again. The GPS said 12 minutes. 12 minutes sounded small, until it didn't. Until every second started to feel expensive. Like something was running out and I couldn't buy it back. Then another message. I can't find Mama. There's so much blood. My grip tightened and jaw locked. I didn't slow down. I couldn't, because deep down, I knew. Whatever was happening in that house, it wasn't waiting for me. The engine roared through a neighborhood that felt too quiet, too still. Like the world had already stepped back from something it didn't want to see. And that's when it hit me. Not fear, helplessness. I hate that feeling. More than losing money. More than losing control. Because it reminds me of something I spent years trying to bury. People think men like me are cold. Maybe we are. Or maybe we just learned early. Caring too much comes with a price. And most people don't survive paying it twice. So no, I was not the man who should have answered that message. But memory doesn't care about who you've become. Somewhere between one red light and the next. I wasn't just Matteo Ricci, billionaire, decision maker, the man who fixes everything with money. I was someone else, someone who had already been too late once, 25 years ago. I had nothing, no money, no power, just a small apartment. My mother, Carmen, working herself into exhaustion, and my little sister, Isabella, 8 years old, trusting me like I was enough to keep the world from touching her. I used to sit with her at a tiny kitchen table, help with homework, make cheap food last, tell her stories so she wouldn't be scared to sleep. She believed me every time I said, "I've got you." Back then, I believed it too, until one night proved I was wrong. I was working at a garage, just another shift, nothing special. Then my boss handed me the phone, And before the voice on the other end finished, I knew something was wrong. A fight next door turned violent. Then gunshots. Walls too thin to stop anything. Wrong place, wrong time. My family was inside. I ran. I don't remember how. I just ran. Past streets I knew. Places that suddenly meant nothing. At the hospital. Everything was too bright. Too late. My mother survived. Isabella didn't. I held her hand. I listened to machines, pretending to give me time I didn't have. And all I could hear, over and over, "I've got you." I didn't. That's the kind of failure that doesn't leave. It doesn't fade. It waits. Waits for a moment like this. A message, a child, hiding in the dark, still believing. Someone will show up before it's too late. Isabella was lying in that hospital bed, small, struggling to breathe, and I was standing there, already knowing one thing. I wasn't going to save her. The machines kept beeping, steady, like nothing was wrong, but everything was wrong. The doctors didn't say much. They didn't need to. I could see it in their faces. Internal bleeding. Too much damage. Words that sound normal, until it's your family. Then she squeezed my hand. Just once. "Mikey," she said, "barely there. Promise me. You'll help kids when they're scared." I nodded. I said yes. I would have said anything, because at that moment, I still thought I had time. I didn't. After we buried her, something in me didn't break. It just shut off. The part of me that believed things would be fair, that someone would show up, that good people would be okay. That part was gone. What came after was different. I stopped waiting for help. Stopped trusting anyone to fix anything. If something needed to be controlled, I would control it myself. If something needed power, I would have it. That's how it started. 5 years later, I wasn't the same person. 10 years, I was making decisions people feared. 15 years, I had more money than I ever planned. More control than I thought existed. And somewhere in all that, Michael Rodriguez disappeared. What was left was me, Matteo Ricci, a billionaire, a man who could handle anything except failure, except being too late. That's what I told myself. Until tonight. Sync minutes to destination. The GPS voice snapped me back. My hands were tight on the wheel. Tighter than usual. Then my phone buzzed. "I think I'm going to sleep now. I'm really tired." No. I said it out loud because I knew that tone. I had heard it before. It wasn't sleep. It was giving up. "Not tonight," I said, pressing harder on the gas. "Not again." I grabbed my phone. Typing fast. "Stay awake, talk to me. What's your name?" There was a pause. Too long. "Emma." "I'm Emma." "Emma." "I'm Matt." "I'm close. You need to stay with me." "Okay. I'll try." That answer hit me. Hard. Because it wasn't panic. It was effort. Like she was already fading. "Good. Keep talking. Tell me about your mom." Sarah Peterson. She makes cookies. She reads to me every night." I swallowed. Because even now, hiding, scared, she was holding on to something normal, something safe, something my sister didn't get to keep. I didn't say it out loud, but I thought it. Not this time. On minute to destination. I saw the house. Small. Worn down. Porch light out. Shadows moving behind the curtains. Something was wrong. You don't need experience to feel that. You just know. No police. No lights. No one outside. Just silence. The wrong kind. I parked across the street. Looked at the house for a second. Then my phone buzzed. He found me. Everything in me went cold. I stepped out of the car. The air sharp. Quiet. I could hear it now. Shouting. Something breaking. A woman crying. I moved toward the house. Steady. No hesitation now. No thinking left. The front door was slightly open. Dark inside. Heavy footsteps. A man's voice. Angry. Drunk. "Come out. You think you can hide." My phone vibrated again in my hand. And in that moment, I wasn't a billionaire. I was just a man, standing at a door, trying not to be too late. Again. Emma sent one last message. Just 2 words. But it hit me hard enough to make my legs feel weak. Help, Mama. I pushed the front door open and stepped inside without making a sound. The house smelled like old beer, cigarettes, and blood. Fresh blood. You never forget that smell once you know it. The living room looked like a storm had torn through it. Chairs knocked over, glass everywhere. Family pictures smashed on the floor. Frames broken. Moments of a normal life crushed in one night. And in the middle of all of it, Sarah Peterson. She was lying on the floor, out cold, blood in her hair, breathing, but barely. I dropped down beside her and checked her pulse. Careful, steady, the way I used to calm Isabella when she had nightmares. Sarah was hurt bad, that much was obvious. But she was alive. If I could get help to her in time. Then I heard it. Heavy steps. Coming from deeper in the house. A man opening doors. One after another. Hard. Angry. Looking for someone. I know you're in here, he shouted. When I find you, you'll wish you never touched that phone. That was the moment something in me went cold. Completely cold. This wasn't business. Wasn't about image, or money, or control. This was a man hunting a child in her own house, and I knew exactly what kind of damage that leaves behind. I stood up slowly, listening, every part of me locked in. Then he came into view at the end of the hall. Big guy. Broad shoulders. Thick arms. Blood on his hands that didn't belong to him. I didn't know his name yet. Later I would learn it was Derek Walsh. But in that moment, I didn't need a name. I knew what he was. The kind of man who feels strong only when someone smaller is scared. He stopped when he saw me standing there. Confused at first. Drunk enough to sway. Angry enough not to think. Who the hell are you? He snapped. This is my house. Get out before I throw you out. I didn't answer. I just looked at him. The way I look at people right before I decide exactly what I'm going to do. Distance, balance, weak side. How fast he moved. How much force it would take to put him down. He took a step toward me, then another. I said, get out. He came fast, wild, sloppy. I moved once. That was all it took. 1 second, he was coming at me. The next, he was on the floor, choking under my hand. I leaned in close. Listen carefully, I said. Quiet, steady. I'm only asking this one time. Where is the little girl? He clawed at my wrist. Tried to talk. Nothing came out. I eased up just enough. I don't know what you're talking about, he coughed. Wrong answer. I tightened my grip again. Enough to make him understand I was done playing with him. Let me make it simple, I said. Emma Peterson. 8 years old. Blonde hair. Hiding somewhere in this house while you beat her mother half to death. Where is she? The second I said Emma's name, I saw it in his face. Not guilt, not shame, just fear that he had been found out. Upstairs, he choked out. She's probably upstairs. Look, you don't understand. Sarah's my girlfriend. We had a fight. Things got messy. The kid's not even mine. I was just trying to teach her some respect. That made my blood go hotter than rage. There are men who lose control. And then there are men who explain cruelty like it's reasonable. He was the second kind. My hand moved toward my jacket. Just enough for him to see the weapon. That changed him fast. His face dropped, and voice cracked. Please, he whispered. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Neither did I told him. And I meant that, because if Emma hadn't been upstairs, if I hadn't heard her next, I don't know how that moment would have ended. Then I heard it. A small voice. Shaky, weak, but alive. Matt, is that you? I looked up toward the second floor. Emma. She remembered the name I gave her. She was calling for me like I was someone safe, like I was the person she had been waiting for this whole night. And I swear that did something to me. Because when a scared little girl calls your name like that, you don't stay the same man you were 5 minutes earlier. Something shifted inside my chest the moment I heard her voice upstairs. The same feeling I had in the car. Now it cracked wider. "I'm here, Emma," I called out, keeping my voice steady. "You're safe. Come down when you're ready." Under my grip, Derek tried to move, but he couldn't. Not really. He was strong, but not enough. "You don't understand," he muttered, struggling to breathe. "That kid, she's been trouble ever since her dad died. Sarah can't handle her. Someone has to teach her respect." Respect. That word sat wrong the second he said it. I leaned in closer. "Respect," I repeated. "Quiet. You want to talk about respect?" I tightened my grip just enough for him to feel it. Respect is a kid feeling safe in her own house. Respect is a mother not ending up on the floor like that. Respect is knowing when to stop before you turn into this. He didn't answer. Didn't need to. I heard something behind me. Light steps. Slow. "Careful, Emma." She was coming down. That changed everything. I couldn't let her see this. Not this part. I pulled Derek up, dragged him toward the kitchen, out of her sight. "Emma," I called back, not turning around. "Stay with your mom. Don't move. I'm calling for help. Everything's going to be okay." I said it like I believed it, even though I knew things don't just become okay. You make them okay. I pushed Derek into the kitchen, and that's when I saw her, Emma, standing at the bottom of the stairs. Small, shaking, wearing pajamas with cartoon unicorns, hair messy, eyes wide, not crying anymore. Just empty fear. But she was alive, still breathing, still looking at me, the same way Isabella used to look at me, like I could fix it. "Thank you for coming," she said. 5 words. That hit harder than anything else that night. Because in that moment, this wasn't about anger, wasn't about control, wasn't even about him anymore. This was about a promise. A promise I made to an 8-year-old girl who didn't make it, and I wasn't breaking it again. The kitchen door closed behind me. Now it was just me and Derek. No witnesses, no noise. Just a man who thought he could get away with hurting people who couldn't fight back. I pressed him against the counter. Controlled, precise, not angry, not wild, just done. "You've got 30 seconds, I said. Calm, almost normal. "Talk, or don't. But choose carefully." His hands were shaking now, different from before. The alcohol wasn't helping him anymore. I know how this looks," he stammered. "But you don't get it. Sarah's been seeing me. I've been helping her, paying bills, fixing things, trying to be there for the kid." I didn't react, didn't interrupt, just watched. Because I've heard this before. Men explaining damage like it's effort. "Go on," I said. He swallowed. "Tonight just got out of hand," he said. "She was drinking. We argued. The kid's been acting up since her dad died, talking back, not listening. Sarah asked me to step in. I was just trying to discipline her." There it was. That word again. Discipline. I let the silence sit there for a second, just long enough. Because sometimes silence tells people exactly how wrong they are. I stepped closer and lowered my voice. "Kids don't ask strangers for help," I said, "unless they have no one left." And the look on his face, that's when he finally understood. This wasn't going to end the way he thought. He stopped talking. And for a second, the silence between us felt heavier than anything he had said. I looked at him. Really looked. This time. "So let me get this straight," I said, calm, too calm. "You beat a woman until she passed out, then chased her 8-year-old daughter through the house. Not a question, just the truth. It wasn't supposed to go like that." He rushed out. Sarah got in the way. She started hitting me, scratching me, screaming. I pushed her. She fell, hit her head. It was an accident. I didn't interrupt. I let him keep going. Because men like him, they always talk themselves into believing it. And the kid, his voice dropped. Quieter now. She saw everything. Started screaming. Said she was calling the cops. "I couldn't let that happen. I've got warrants. You don't understand." I'd be locked up by morning. There it was. Not regret, not guilt, just fear of consequences. I nodded slowly. Not because I agreed, but because now I understood exactly who he was. This wasn't one bad night. This was a pattern. You chased her, I said. Through her own house. He didn't answer. Didn't need to. You took the only place she felt safe, I continued, and turned it into something she'll never forget, all so you could protect yourself. He shook his head. When you say it like that, it sounds worse than it is. I let out a breath. No, I said, quieter now. That's exactly what it is. From the living room, I could hear Emma, soft, talking, not to me, to her mom, telling her everything was okay now, telling her I was there, asking her to wake up, saying they were still going to get ice cream tomorrow. That broke something in me. Not loud, not dramatic, just gone. All those years, building walls, keeping distance, convincing myself I didn't need to care. All of it. Gone. Because of one small voice. Still hoping. Still trusting. I thought about Isabella. That last promise. How long I had spent telling myself it wasn't possible. That helping people like that would just break me again. But Emma proved something different. Sometimes, people don't need a system. They just need someone to show up. Derek, I said, and even I could hear the difference in my voice now. I want you to understand something. He froze. I've dealt with a lot of people in my life, I went on. People who cheat, lie, destroy lives for money. I stepped closer. But the worst kind, I said, is someone who hurts a kid and still thinks he's right. He didn't move, didn't breathe. My phone buzzed. Work. Someone checking where I was. I ignored it, because none of that mattered right now. Not the company. Not the money. Just one kid in the next room. Waiting. Here's what's going to happen, I said. He looked up fast. Hope. Wrong kind of hope. You're going to walk out the back door, I said, and you're going to disappear. He nodded quickly. You're not coming back here. You're not calling Sarah. You're not getting within 10 miles of Emma. He kept nodding. Too fast. But, I said, that word hit him harder than anything. If I ever hear your name again, I continued, anywhere near a situation like this, I leaned in closer, and I will hear about it. His face changed. I will find you, I said, quiet, steady. And next time, there won't be a conversation. Silence. Then he nodded, fast, sweat running down his face. Do you understand? I asked. Yes, he whispered. Good, because for the first time in a long time, I meant every word. Get out, I said, not loud, but enough. Before I changed my mind. For a second, he didn't move. Then something in my voice finally reached him. Derek turned, stumbled toward the back door, hands shaking so bad he could barely open it. Right before he stepped out, I said one more thing. Derek, the clock starts now. 24 hours. You're gone. 25 hours, if you're still in this city. We finish this. Differently. He didn't look back. The door slammed shut. And just like that, it was quiet again. I stood there for a moment, not moving, because I knew something had changed. I let him live. Not because he deserved it, but because killing him, that would have been the easy version of me. The old version. And tonight wasn't about that. I pulled out my phone and called someone I trusted. Dr. Elizabeth Chen. She picked up fast. Mateo, what happened? I need help, I said. Woman, head trauma, unconscious. Name Sarah Peterson. Where are you? I gave her the address. No police, I added. Just help. There was a short pause. Then she said, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Is this business? I hesitated, then answered, No. This is personal. That was the first time I had said that in years. And I meant it. I walked back into the living room. Emma was still there, sitting beside her mom, holding her hand, whispering to her like she could pull her back just by talking. That kind of hope. It doesn't come from strength. It comes from love. She looked up at me, eyes red, but different now. Not just fear anymore. Relief. Is he gone? She asked. He's gone, I said. He's not coming back. She nodded slowly. Is Mama going to be okay? I knelt down in front of her. Same level. Same way I used to with Isabella. I called a doctor. I said, a really good one. She's going to help your mom. Emma believed me. Just like that. That kind of trust. It's heavy. Matt, she said softly. Why did you come? You don't even know us. That question. It hit harder than anything tonight. Because the answer wasn't simple. Not for her. Not for me. I looked at her. Then said the only truth I had. Because someone important made me promise. A long time ago. Who? My sister, I said. Her name was Isabella. Emma thought about that. Was she nice? I nodded. She was the best person I knew. Where is she now? I felt it then. Something I hadn't felt in years. Tears. She's gone, I said quietly. But I think she would have liked you. A lot. Emma reached out, took my hand. Same way Isabella used to. And that almost broke me. I'm glad you kept your promise, she said. Simp. But it landed deep. Because in that moment, everything made sense. All the years, all the control, all the distance. It led here. To this, helping one kid. When it mattered, headlights swept across the room. Dr. Chen had arrived. Soon Sarah would be okay. Emma would have her mom back. But I knew something else too. This wasn't the end. It was the start. Because, for the first time in a long time, I wasn't building something for power, or money, or control. I was protecting something real. I stepped outside and made one more call. Vincent, I said, I need you to set something up. Anonymous. A trust fund. Full coverage. School. Living. Everything. He paused. Boss, what's this about? I looked back at the house. At the light inside. At the life that almost got taken away. I'm keeping a promise, I said. And this time, I wasn't too late. And Vincent, I said, still standing outside the house. Clear my schedule for the next few weeks. I've got something personal to take care of. He didn't answer right away. That told me enough. Because I almost never said things like that. But this time, I meant it. For the first time in years. I wasn't choosing work. I was choosing people. And that felt right. That night didn't end the way I thought it would. Honestly, nothing about it did. Because sometimes, it takes a scared child reaching out to the wrong number to remind you who you used to be. Before you stopped caring, 6 months later, I stood at the doorway of Emma's new room, watching her outside, running, laughing, like a kid should, like nothing had ever tried to take that away from her. Sarah recovered, slowly, but fully. The bruises faded. The fear didn't disappear overnight, but it got lighter, and every time she smiled, you could tell she was choosing to keep going. But the truth is, the biggest change wasn't them, it was me. Every Sunday, I showed up. No meetings, no excuses, just Matt, helping with homework, teaching her chess, listening to stories that didn't matter to the world, but mattered to her. And somewhere in all of that, I realized something I wish I had understood sooner. I didn't lose everything all those years ago. I just stopped showing up. Derek Walsh disappeared, just like I told him to, and word spread, quiet, but fast. People started to understand. There are lines you don't cross. Not anymore. But that wasn't the part that stayed with me. Fear can stop someone for a moment, but it doesn't change who they are. This was different. Because for the first time, I wasn't protecting power. I was protecting people. Emma asked me something one day. What if I never sent that message? I didn't think long. I just told her the truth. Then I'd still be the same man I was before. And that stayed with me. Because I've learned something. You don't always get a chance to fix the past. But when you do, you don't ignore it. If there's one thing I'd say, it's this. Don't walk away from the moment that feels like it matters. Even if it's inconvenient. Even if it doesn't make sense yet. Because sometimes, the difference between losing everything and saving it is just one person who didn't walk away. And this story is shared to reflect real emotions and personal perspective, not to encourage or justify any harmful actions. If this story stayed with you, then stay a little longer and tell me where you're watching from. If this story stayed with you, don't just scroll away. Tell me something real. Have you ever had a moment where one small decision changed everything? Type "I stayed" in the comments, so I know you made it to the end. And if you want more stories like this, stay here with me. Hit subscribe, because some stories aren't just stories. They stay with you.